Oh, Jerry Pete, will our love-hate relationship ever end? Maybe for those of you who haven't got the thing, I don't even, it wasn't even really a thing. It was like Jerry and I just hit a, what do you say it in English? Bumped our heads once, and people made us out to be arch enemies. But then again, we talked a little bit about it afterwards, and we were okay. Nevertheless, the thing is that we have a lot of different perspectives on a lot of stuff. Just to make something very clear, I'm still subscribed to him. I watch most of his content because he produces interesting content. I originally watched. This is a funny thing. I originally came across him when he used to emulate a little bit of the. Or at least he had the videos of emulating the zero punctuation style, and I actually liked it. I considered it a nice homage, and I can recall enjoying it, but well, he apparently was under the impression that it is something he doesn't identify with anymore, or I'm not entirely sure what his precise motivation was. But nevertheless, he removed the content. Which is already one of the first points I disagree with him. Here's the thing, when you want to evolve or switch your content around, there are basically three ways you can go about it. Way number one is basically create a completely new channel, just leave the old channel be and create a new one. And as somebody who has by now attempted 3 spin-off channels of my main channel, this vlog thingy being one of them, I can tell you, even when you have a bigger channel, to give you a little bit of a boost at the beginning, because people are like, hey, I enjoy your shit, you can do what you want, I follow and stalk you everywhere. And I have quite a few of those people who basically react to me announcing a new spin-off channel, are like, a new way to stalk you. It's not creepy. Yeah, it actually kind of is. Then again, I guess I just assume those people are using it in good humor. If not, I don't know how to feel about it, I have to admit. Nevertheless, what was the extra point I was going for? Yeah, opportunity number two. I'll finish my thoughts on option number one. Option number one: creating a completely new channel, starting over there, and trying to move stuff there while leaving the old one intact as something like an artifact of the olden times, something like this. And basically, yeah, starting over with the new one, keeping the door open to returning to the old one. And as somebody who has not only made 2 spin-off channels of my successful one, I also still have 2 pre-channels, which I'm not using anymore, but the first one will probably never get reinstalled in any way. It was just me experimenting, not really knowing where to go. The second one, ANY1 or ANY Corp or ANY Movies, I believe is the name of the actual channel. Oh god. Anyways, this one I still kind of keep the door open, and I'm considering either moving back there at some point, just rekindling it and assuming the story, or maybe actually emigrating the characters from the old channel to the new one. But yeah, multi-channeling and switching channels is a very hard thing to do. I can see why this option is the least appealing of all of them. The second option would be making either a smooth or a rather hard transition within your own channel. Example, Digibro, whose original channel content was strictly only MLP, and then at one point he was like, okay guys, I had a fun ride, but by now I have my pony burnout, and see you guys, I'm doing anime now. And he, from one moment to the other, I mean, he kind of build it up a little bit by doing some anime stuff before, by doing a little bit of video gamey content stuff before he started experimenting, before he did the bam, new content, deal with it. And this one is probably a little bit of a mixture between the first one and the last one. They all borrow a little bit from each other, the 3 options. So this option basically keeps all the old stuff intact, but to keep it in one channel, so you basically can follow the entire history and development and evolution of a internet persona on his own channel, which can be really interesting. I know that channels I sometimes get curious, go to their video page and are like, show me all this to new instead of news to all. And seeing the very first stuff can be really interesting and refreshing. And just seeing where people come from, keeping this kind of history intact, is something I consider fascinating. Now we have a person like Jerry Peet who is like, screw history, I delete, or maybe unlist, I don't know. I remove everything from my old channel because I'm not proud of it anymore. I am embarrassed for my history. I really don't know his motivations. I'm just speculating at this point. So he probably had his reasons. Maybe they were really good reasons and I simply don't understand it. Nevertheless, I see the final result. The final result being he removed all his old stuff, including the zero punctuation homage thingy, which I liked. It was like, hey, I like zero punctuation, he likes zero punctuation, we have something in common. Also, he made me laugh a few times. This is a channel I want to follow. And nowadays, I have to say, while I enjoyed his, I don't know, how would you call this kind of genre when you just play clips from a show, make a comment, a snarky comment about it, and then the next one, and you comprise an entire episode in the span of 5 minutes and 15 puns. How do you call this format? It's not commentary, because commentary is usually ongoing commenting. Leave your explanation in the bottom below. I wouldn't even know how to call this kind of series in German, so I'm really at a loss here. So please, guys, help me. What do you call this kind of show? Nevertheless, I enjoyed the show in the beginning. Recently, I have to say, it barely made me snicker. It was like, I am not entirely sure why this is. I actually see a lot of possible explanations for this kind of development. First thing, the easiest explanation would be that basically he just ran dry his jokes. Possible, I don't know. I'm a subjective being, and I can't tell. Did he grow dry? Has anybody else the same feeling? Option number 2, I'm following him for quite a while now, and maybe I am just so used to his humor that humor is something. Humor works on surprise, surprise. Surprise is a big constant of humor, screwing with your expectations. And maybe I'm so used to him and his kind of humor and his brand of humor that by now I'm like, sounds like the joke he made last year or something. I don't know. I don't have this conscious thought. It's just like that maybe the joke just grew old for me personally because I'm following him too old, but he is still on par with his earlier videos. Or option number 3, I don't want to dismiss at this point either, is, as I said in the opening, that I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship to him because I disagree with him on so many levels opinion-wise, that maybe this kind of bias or this kind of being very overcritical about him, like, what is Jerry saying today? That this maybe taints my own perception of him, and he actually is great as ever and whatever, and I'm just like, I'm not sure if this is funny or not. So it could be that I'm just a super subjective asshole. I have no clue. Nevertheless, the point where I actually was going is that I primarily enjoyed his more funny stuff, and by now I'm really more interested in seeing his glass of water thingy, which I probably should check out how it is on his channel, which is actually the more popular content he's producing recently. So yeah, I'm usually enjoy looking forward to those. I hate channels with auto-playing videos, seriously. I don't like this. Who does this? Auto-playing videos are just so obnoxious. So let's see. Glass of water, and here are his funny skits. No, his funny thingies get still a lot more views. So people like this kind of simple, see an image, make a joke, haha, next one. So the Family Guy, I guess it can be called the Family Guy brand of humor. Then again, not really. He gives it a very, very unique spin. But having a joke disconnected to the next one, really joke, pun, or build up pun, and done. it's a very simple and easy to digest kind of quick entertainment, 5 minutes a video. So yeah, I can see why this is appealing to a lot of people. And all this, the amazing part is all I'm talking about is kind of getting together to the big point I'm working on, which is actually connected to his most recent video. Wow, this is turning on long, and I'm talking quick today, and still it's so long. So yeah, even the way how he handles his own channel, how he manages, how he pretty much disregards his own history and is like, no, I don't like this old stuff anymore, so screw you guys, I'm deleting it, or at least removing it from public view because I don't identify with it anymore. Go. And for somebody who has a liking for transparency and who also is fascinated by seeing how things develop, I don't like this decision of his. So yeah, from the three options, multi-channeling, which is very tricky and hard, and in the end, at the end of the day, you end up with a clusterfuck of different channels, which are all more or less filled with life, like in my case. It's not an optimal way, I have to say. Then again, positive example, film theory and game theory. When game theory, big channel, if you don't know it, you are an idiot and should really try to internet better or to YouTube better. Game theory is one of the greatest channels. If you are a gamer, maybe if you're not a gamer, so yeah, skip on it. If you are in any ways a gamer and like crazy theories, goddammit, watch Game Theory if you don't know it. Well, nevertheless, Game Theory, a few million subscribers, great channel. I can only recommend it like I just did a moment ago. They made a spin-off channel it's called Film Theory, which is talking about movies and series and stuff, and basically doing the exact same thing, but instead of talking about video games, they're talking about films. Doing the same over-analyzing, over-researching, crazy theory stuff, and I love it. It was when MadPat announced this on this new channel on Game Theory, I was like, oh, film theory. Watching the first video, realizing what it is, liking the video, subscribing, watching the rest he already did before making his public announcement. So multi-channeling can work. Positive example, yeah. Bad example me, positive example MadPat. The middle case, just making transitioning on your channel. Tricky one, also can probably done right, can probably done bad. Example for somebody who did it successfully was Digibro, who it is a little bit of a shock. So in the first moment when he did it, he lost, I don't know, 20% of his subscribers. They were really like, so whoa, we are so disappointed, we subscribe for something completely different. But after all, after this first it needs to get worse before it gets better moment, his channel bloomed and exploded. Okay, now I'm curious. How many subscribers has he now? Digibro has nearly 100,000 subscribers. He was stuck around the 70,000-80,000 before, if I recall correctly. So yeah, I would expected him to have a bigger success, especially since he was in this top anime reviewer list a while ago. Too bad for him. I'm not really watching him anymore because I lost my connection to anime sadly a long time ago. I used to be a little bit of an otaku, but do you see a single piece of anime on this back wall? I had a lot of anime posters, but yeah, kind of lost connection. No real explanation. It was just like no explanation. Still no explanation. It was just like growing out of it and growing into something different. Happens to the best. Nevertheless, oh god, this vlog is turning out long. I will publish this everywhere just to get this time worth of clicks, whatever. Let's see if I can still pick up where I left my rant. So, Jerry Peet, 3 options, yeah. Third option, removing all your previous part, I believe it is a very common thing. People, and I can see its practical use. I don't want to deny it. I can see why this method is practical. You still have your your subscriber base, your viewer base, which is a very good starting point. As I said, if I would simply stop doing my usual routine on my main channel and would just completely switch to Let's Plays, I would probably alienate a lot of people in the at first. But I would also keep a lot more. Let's say half the people are just like, hey, why you asshole, we didn't subscribe for Let's Plays, and they leave. So I still have 10,000 subscribers who at least are there as a number. I know this doesn't count for a lot, but it is, people are like cheap. When you see something is popular, you are like, oh, it must be good, there are 10,000 subscribers, let me check it out. This is the thing how people work. I'm not different. I see a video by a popular guy. It's the same content. I see it by a popular guy and by an unpopular guy. Which one do you think I will watch? So yeah, this is the thing. If I would have done this and be like, let's plays all the way, and I remove all my old content, this has two things. First of all, yes, as I said, you probably, it gets a little bit worse, then it gets better, but the benefit in difference to, for example, Digi's channel. Digi's channel was a brony channel all the way, and there are a lot of people who have their biases against bronies. And I guess if they would come to this channel, would be at first like, okay, this looks interesting. I like animes, he likes animes, maybe I should subscribe. And then they look back and see like, oh, he is a brony! Hate, hate, hate! I had this with my Kong Fury reaction video. It actually got a lot of views. I didn't expect it. I really did it just for fun because I liked it. But it grew a lot of attention because, well, it was a reaction video to something current and popular. So big surprise. A lot of people ended up there. But I also got a very few likes, a lot of considering the content, got a lot of dislikes, and I got a bunch of comments about brony, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't even consider that this video might get popular outside of my viewers. I just wanted to share it with my subscribers. And there was a thing, because if your channel has a history, people who are going to look at this history and might form biases and opinions which have nothing to do with your current content. And in this regard, I can say, yes, you want to keep your old channel to not have to completely start over, but you want to separate your new content from your old content. So from a practical point of view, I can completely agree with this kind of behavior. I still don't like it, but it's from the three options the one I dislike the most, and this is the one option Jerry chooses. So just a basic example of how we simply tick differently and why it is not a big surprise that we bump heads or have differentiating opinions quite often. Also, just a little remark, I very, very barely ever give thumbs down on videos. I either like them, then I give them a thumbs up, which I am aware is a multiplier because I have people see when I give a thumbs up, see it on Google+, they see it probably somewhere in my YouTube stream, and I have my I have my Twitter connected to my YouTube, so all my YouTube activities appear on Twitter, and I have my Twitter connected to my Facebook, so all my Twitter activities appear also on my Facebook. So yes, me liking something in this small 20k subscriber dimension I'm currently living in has a little bit of a multiplier effect. So when I like something, I give a thumbs up. When I dislike something, I'm like, meh, and move on. I don't give a thumbs down. For me to give a thumbs down, because if something is made poorly and everything, I'm still like, oh well, you tried, it's not my... As a content creator myself, I know that a thumbs down, or maybe even a majority of thumbs down, or if it is if more than 10% on a video are thumbs down, it is like, oh, people don't like me. I mean, let's face it, you don't YouTube if you're not an attention whore. It's a fact. Come on. Everybody who denies it is just dishonest with themselves. But so yeah, having a down-rated video, it hurts a little bit, and having thumbs up feels great. So yeah, giving thumbs down, I don't give thumbs down because I disagree with somebody. I don't simply disagree with somebody. I don't give thumbs down because the content is done badly, because, well, I started out as crap as well. I mean, you don't charge anybody for it. It's not like producing a crappy computer game and putting it on Steam for $10 and pretty much ripping people off and claiming, oh, I just started out, I need to learn shit. Yeah, fuck yourself. Start on new grounds and produce this stuff for free while you are still having your training wheels on. And with YouTube, it's the same. When people still have their training wheels on, try to find their ways, try to get into the flow, I'm not disliking them. This is mean discouragement. If they don't get better and they don't give their thumbs up, they will be discouraged enough. But I don't need to rub it in their face. So barely ever give a thumbs down. Somebody really needs to piss me off with the content they produce. Like, they do something intentionally which I cannot think is good. And I believe so far Jerry Peet never got a thumbs down from me. I might be wrong. Maybe one video pissed me off for some reason or another, but I can't even let's put it as this. I can't recall ever giving Jerry Peet a thumbs down, and if it was the case, it was a fracture of the times I gave him a thumbs up. Okay, now I'm starting to have trouble to remember where I was going with all this. Yeah, me, him, often disagreeing. We are both self-righteous, arrogant assholes, and we are not on the same wavelength, so therefore we are destined to collide every now and then. Now, his current video, which kind of ties all the subjects we talked about today kind of together. His glass of water about cult of personality. First of all, mentioning that YouTube is personality driven and not content driven is something a certain person on the internet, namely me, has already said, God damn it, where's the video? Probably 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I should have prepared this better. Yes, I said this 2 years ago, basically, like that YouTube is not personality, not content driven. I made this kind of list, like what are the and what is the most important thingy for success on YouTube? What is the least important? I believe it was about 8 items, and actual content was the second to last or something. So yeah, basically we agree. Nevertheless, there's a difference. We both came to the same conclusion, but he made a point about, well, there are those people, you know who you are, who claim that there should be, content should be better. Yes, I guess I am one of the person, because I want quality. I say that, yeah, you see, here's the thing. We both look at it and we both realize the same fact. He is like, well, if you want a better world, you are just a douche. Sure, you can try to fight the system, but basically between the lines he says, if you try to fight the system, you're just an idiot, and you should just roll with it, and success pretty much favors the winner. Or there's a saying about, like, successful people basically write the rules, whatever. I look at the same thing, I come to the same conclusion, but I'm like, well, that's sad. It is sad that this bullshit on YouTube is a dominant factor. I mean, the jokes about cat videos are as old as YouTube. I don't know. So yeah, on the one hand, it's really I see it as sad, and I would recommend everybody try to go for the middle ground. Try to find a balance between valuable content that gives people something to take with them, but make it entertaining. Find the middle ground. He is just like content which is kind of hypocritical, considering that his entire Glass of Water series is not primarily about entertaining. He writes it in an entertaining way and with his persona and everything, but it is all about discussing stuff and forming opinions and letting people who watch it actually take something away from it. At least in this case, he made me take enough away from it to make a, by now, 24-minute long vlog. So yeah, this is a kind of funny thing with him, that on the one hand he condemns something, on the other hand he still does it himself, and he does it quite well, I have to say. Yeah, so here's that big ironic part. About this entire thing, that he goes for this personality-driven thing, or he makes a big deal out of it, and yeah, he got me thinking, and he got me like, hey, I want to reply to this in some way. Basically, I do agree on his points. I look at it from a very different angle, and also one thing I simply have to address, being a Total Biscuit fan myself, that he is like, oh, Total Biscuit, he is like a robot and not personality driven and exchangeable and whatnot. I have to highly disagree, Jerry. Sorry about that. But fact is, for me, it is basically exactly what you described. Total Biscuit can do whatever he wants. I watch him and I think it's amazing. I love his personality, and 2.5 million subscribers kind of prove that there must be more than just one exchangeable test driver, a video game test driver as you call him. I mean, there are videos of him eating care packages from other countries, and he's just sitting there and being all cynical and snarky about the content he unpacks, and it's still entertaining because of his personality. Then again, on the second hand, where Jerry still makes a good point, or he kind of gets proven right, is that Total Biscuit's personality, being this very dry and British person, is obviously inferior and less grabbing than, for example, a Markiplier. He put Markiplier up as an example of somebody more successful. And yeah, the numbers prove Jerry completely right. Total Biscuit is around since 2006 and only has 2.5 million subscribers. Still makes a good living out of it, if I am informed correctly. Then again, there's a Markiplier who only started 2012, which is like 3 years ago. And Markiplier has already nearly 9 million subscribers. And yeah, he has a stronger, more lively, more entertaining personality, or let's say more mainstream entertaining personality. So, what do we take away from this? Jerry oversimplifies. He is like, oh, it's all entertainment and it's just watched by 10 to 20-year-old school children, and we all should cater to them. And he makes the example of people are not watching the Discovery Channel, but instead those series he probably put up intentionally the wrong images just to see who actually recognizes. I did, my friend. And but there is a Discovery Channel. There is a Total Biscuit with 2.5 million. There is a market for it. Yes, if you want to cater to the masses, just go for the silly jokes. Which once again he doesn't do himself, which is kind of, I don't know if it is irony coming from his persona, if it is really that he doesn't realize that there's a little bit of a hypocritical thing that he says like, oh, you shouldn't focus on deep content which actually carries a message, make it entertainment, while I tell you this in an actually deep video which is focusing on the entertainment. Or I don't know, maybe he just is like that this glass of water is just successful by accident, that he basically still wants to focus on his only slightly more successful series, and actually is like making this glass of water just to vent a little bit, and people are still liking it, and he maybe just looks at his viewer counts and is like, why are people enjoying this so much? I just explained why this is not the case. I don't know. Completely speculating at this point. It is actually 1 a.m. in the morning, which is not so late actually, but I kind of turned a little bit more in a morning person over the last year, which makes making connecting to people in the US really tricky, especially since certain people moved from the west coast to the east coast. Wait. From the east coast to the west coast. I had a D in geography at school, so don't you judge me. And I still have better knowledge of other geographies, on worldwide geography than the average American. In your face, German. For people who still haven't figured out where my strange accent comes from. Still, Germany. To this day, there's not a week without somebody leaving a comment asking where I'm from and if my accent is German. I guess I would have mentioned it often enough in my videos. But maybe they just watched one video, the first video, and stuff like this. Okay, I'm 30 seconds away from the half-minute mark, half-hour mark. I really should stop at this point because this was never what I intended for this vlog channel. As I said, Jerry Peet, his Glass of Water series, while I often enough disagree with him, I enjoy disagreeing with him, and here's a little bit of a reply to him, why I see it slightly different than he did, and why his video didn't give it a thumbs up, because it didn't feel right to me to give it a thumbs up, but you deserved a long reply video. And 30 minutes!